Yes guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now it has been a while since I've uploaded, and I understand my YouTube channel has more dust on it than Tottenham's trophy cabinet, but Astrid has just made a video explaining why she's no longer participating in the boxing fight. What the fuck? Like, who would have imagined that any of them would have pulled out?
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Because I definitely wouldn't have imagined that. No, I'm joking. Right, so let's actually watch the video. Let's see her reasoning behind why she's pulling out. And, yeah, let's get into the video.
I'm going to fucking kill you, cunt.
You're dead, cunt.
I'm going to effing kill you, slag.
You are fucking dead. You are dead. You are gone.
I am withdrawing from the event on the 16th of July against Elle Brooke. I know some of you are going to be really disappointed and wanting answers, but let me explain why I just can't continue on this card. I wanted to prove to everybody that a porn star can do something different. With the boxing, I wanted it to be...
We already know porn stars can do other things other than porn, just an FYI.
Well respected, change the opinion on girls that are in the same line of work. I personally feel that the Kingpin event is not the event for this. Things have changed from what we first thought when we signed 6 to 7 weeks ago. The names that we were given at the point of contract were very well known and well respected content creators.
I mean, are they though? Respected is a little bit far-fetched.
Great, but none of these people were signed and nobody had a say in who would be on the undercard of the fight. No disrespect to anybody that's fighting either.
You are aware that your fight and Elle's fight was an undercard to the main event, which was Ed Matthews against Simple Simon, just as FYI.
Yeah. Brian Taylor was added 2 days ago. In his last boxing fight, he headbutted his opponent, and that was at the Showstar event. He shouldn't be allowed in the ring ever again.
My first point is, from my very little knowledge of boxing, if he did headbutt someone in that fight, he would have lost that round. If it went to, if both fighters went the whole duration of all the rounds and it came down to points scored per round given by judges, and the overall number, then he would have either lost that round or would have dropped massive amount of points compared to the opponent he was facing. And I know that because KSI and Logan Paul's match, Logan Paul punched KSI when he was already down, which would have caused Logan to drop points overall on that.
Let alone to fight 3 months later. Kingpin is a rebrand from Showstar, the same company that had Ryan last time. To talk about the press conference on Wednesday, I was on edge the whole time. The event was made free, which meant that anybody could buy a ticket.
What did he say?
First of all, you can't sell something that costs nothing. You can't. You can't sell something that doesn't cost anything. I understand what she's trying to say, but the wording is just wrong.
150 people turned up. That was their first mistake. We were waiting around for nearly 4 hours as the timings were messed up. Fans were chucking, throwing, lobbing things, and running onto the stage the entire event. Simon and Ed started...
Right, this is where I have an issue, because she was part of the Eastbourne charity match that happened 2 weeks before the football game that I was part of, the Content Ballers rematch, of which she then played in, where fans were running onto the pitch. I wouldn't even say fans, just people running onto the pitch. You had a guy actually assault Cow, and then after all the content creators had left, you had a full-on pitch invasion once and got the game called off. Yet you still were happy to participate in the Content Ballers rematch game, where that obviously wasn't going to happen, and I know that because of things that I know. But you didn't know that, and it could have very easily happened again, and you had no issue being part of it. So you can't really say that as a reason why you're dropping out. And also, if you watch the people that I saw run onto the stage, they weren't trying to hurt anyone. The guy who ran onto the stage you just showed, if you've played the clip maybe about 15 seconds before you showed it, he runs onto the stage and then fist bumps Ed. And maybe we don't know what the guy's intention actually was because security did drag him off. But from what I saw, he just fist bumped Ed. He didn't try and punch Ed. He didn't try and do anything. So you can't really use that.
Full on fighting behind me, and then
It
Simon
happens at press
assaulted
conferences.
Ed 2 minutes into the press conference.
It happens.
Elle was allowed to bring a coffin onto the stage during the press conference the day after somebody tragically lost their life in the boxing ring. I understand there's funny beef back and forth. I can take that, but that is just something you don't joke about. In the boxing world, I've learned that you don't joke about, I'm gonna kill you and you're gonna die, because sometimes that does happen.
I'm going to fucking kill you, cunt. You are fucking dead.
Okay.
You are dead. You are gone.
You're dead, cunt.
I'm going to effing kill you.
You picked the wrong fucking fight, cunt.
So to bring a coffin onto the stage is disgusting. Where is the respect? Even after the
All right, I get that a little bit. But at the same time, I guess emotions sometimes get the best of some people. So they don't really think about everything as a whole. But yeah, I guess.
event, I alerted them and Elle's team of the situation, and nobody apologised. In fact, they condoned it, as Elle reposted a video on her story talking about how funny she is. Not only was Elle hugely disrespectful by using horrific language, making awful jokes, but she also
Hold up. I don't understand how you can have a go at Elle for using horrific language and bad jokes and stuff when you publicly body shamed her.
Because you called me fat!
You are.
You called me
You look like Brock Lesnar, love.
Am I fat?
You built like a man, mate. I'm not worried about someone who looks like Brock Lesnar.
Live in that press conference in front of 150 people, as well as thousands who were watching it live. I don't understand how you can get upset about what she was doing when you were just as bad in that press conference, as well as saying what her actual name was. You said it again in this press conference.
As hard as I possibly can. She's Crystal. Her name's Crystal.
came out half naked in a bikini, fully well knowing that the average age of the audience was about 14 years old.
Nothing wrong with that, technically, because you go to the beach and there are fully grown adults wearing bikinis in front of kids. Doesn't really mean anything, and I think she did it to make a point because you body shamed her by calling her fat. So I don't think there's actually anything that bad with what Elle did here.
I was so embarrassed to sit there and be a part of it all.
Were you embarrassed when you were shouting pedo, pedo, and all that stuff? I don't think you was.
And the event knew it was happening. It was planned. I was assaulted at the face-off and then again after. Elle grabbed my face and then kicked me pretty hard in the stomach, which is fine. I can...
I mean, you kind of reacted to her. If she just touched your face and you didn't react, I doubt that would have actually happened. But each to their own. I understand why you reacted, because she was getting under your skin, she was making you angry and stuff, so you know it's like fair enough. But still, if you hadn't reacted, she probably wouldn't have kicked you.
can take that. But I was the one that was picked up and dragged off the stage.
Now, the reason why I think you were the one who was picked up and dragged off the stage was because if you watch the press conference, they all come out from the same side, and the closest one out them to that side was Astrid. And I think they didn't get Elle off because they knew they would have had to... It would have just been a lot harder, and it would have caused a lot more chaos if they tried to get Elle off from the side she was on than to get you off from the side you were on. That's why I think they took you off. I don't think there was any favoritism here.
She stayed on with a mic and continued to slander me during Ed and Simon's face-off, To which, at that point, I couldn't defend myself because I'd already been dragged off the stage. Then when she walked off, there was another little brawl, and she pretty much dragged me back onto the stage by my hair.
I'm not going to lie, from the clip you showed, you can't really see her dragging you. It looks like you brought yourself onto the stage. So maybe you should have just included like the beginning of that clip, if there was any, just to make it a little bit more clear.
I went back into my dressing room and nobody from Kingpin came to check on me. In fact, someone popped their head round the corner to ask if I was ready for another interview. The way that she acted during the press conference is a real concern for my safety for the actual fight. What's to stop her from headbutting me or kicking me or going for the back of the head, for example?
To be honest, I don't think there is anything that you can say will prevent her from doing any of that. The only thing I can think is the press conference, you're not going to act like you're in a fight because it's not the actual fight, you know. Whereas when you're actually in the boxing ring and you're surrounded by your actual trainers and everything, I think you're more in the mindset of doing what is on hand, what you need to do. So I doubt she would kick you or punch you in the back of the head in the boxing fight. I think she only did it because it was a press conference, and you're not really seeing it as a boxing fight at that time because it's not.
She's already stated plenty of times that she wants to kill me.
I'm going to fucking kill you,
I don't
cunt.
think literally.
You are fucking dead. You are dead. You are gone.
Obviously, implementing death.
You're dead, cunt.
Now there are
It's a term of phrase, and I understand why Astrid keeps bringing it up, but at the same time, it's just a term of phrase that people use for events because they're very confident that it's happening, or they just really hate the person. But I don't. If you actually think she's being literal about this, then I don't know. But I think everyone knows that she's not actually gonna do anything like that.
no head guards, so this is no joke. There
Standard,
are no drugs testing clauses in the contract. I believe that all fighters should be tested for illegal substances before a fight.
From experience with being unhappy with contracts and not saying anything, if you were this unhappy about there not being a no drugs testing clause within the contract, you should have spoken up before it was drawn up and refused to take the fight until that had been put in. I don't know if contracts had actually been signed by this point, like from the start to the press conference. I don't know if Astrid actually mentions if it was or not. But if you had already signed the contract, knowing you were unhappy that there was no drug clause within it, then you should have mentioned it and refused to sign it until they added that. But that is basing it on that you had already signed it before. If the contract had still not been signed, then fair enough. But
honestly don't know why the organisers don't insist on this. I train clean and I have nothing to hide.
Good for you.
And
Nice.
take this how you want, but I don't look unnatural. The headline sponsor.
you've just body shamed her again. I don't get it. I don't get it. You were just crying 2 minutes ago about how she was acting and the language and the jokes she was making. You've just body shamed her again. Why? I don't.
Sponsor that my team sorted were due to be signed straight after the press conference. I can't name who they are. They pulled out because of the antics
So maybe, I don't know if that's the contract was supposed to be signed or if this was her own team. I don't know exactly what that was meant to be.
of the event, attributing poor behaviour. The final straw for us today were when the tickets went on sale. They have made the full downstairs area standing, which is so unsafe for the fighters. I have genuine concern for all of the fighters' safety at this event. I have been training hard.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's more danger for the people standing than there is for the fighters, because just like football matches, there are seats in every single place, but you do not have to sit down, and you can still very easily jump over and run onto the pitch, whether there's seats there or not. And from the layout that I saw, I feel it's going to be how it was at the press conference, I think, where the standing is going to be down one level, and then the boxing ring itself is going to be on a higher level up on a stage. And then there's probably going to be a bit of a distance between the stage and the bottom people standing with a line of security. So imagine you've gone to a festival, like when you see Reading Festival, where the stage is, you see there's a line of security guards, and then there's a gap between the stage and the people standing. Then there's obviously those metal barriers as well. So I think that's what's going to be implemented for this fight. So I don't think this point is... Obviously, it's okay to be worried, but at the same time, I don't think this point is too much to get worried over.
For the last 2 months, training twice a day, 6 days a week. I have learned to love the sport, but more importantly, respect it. I don't want to be associated with some of the things that happened at the press conference, which showed a huge disrespect to the sport.
Yeah, but you also didn't help yourself by doing some very disrespectful things either, like body shaming someone, calling someone a pedo, baiting out what Elle Brooke's actual name is again on a press conference in front of thousands of people. So you need to stop trying to play the victim on this card here.
Some of you are going to say I'm a pussy or a chicken for pulling out and not fighting, but so be it. It takes more guts to say this and pull out than participate in an event where the organisers and my opponent don't share the same respect for the sport of boxing that I do. In my opinion, the event is an absolute freak show where we're just being put up to be laughed at,
I think we all
and not
that.
because we want to be good fighters. I've had other offers for other fights, so I am looking at other opportunities. So don't worry, guys, you're going to see Astrid fight this year at some point, just with an opponent who respects me. Alright,
I'm going to end the video on that, but before I do, I'm just going to make a point of no boxer really respects their opponent until after they've had a fight. Like, if you look at KSI and Logan Paul, they despise each other, have no respect for each other, but then they have the fight and everything, and that all happens, and then they start respecting each other because they see past the fight. And I think that's what makes the fight so much more engaging, when there's just pure hatred between the two. But then after they've had their fights and everything, then they can start relaxing, and they can just, I think everyone knows what I'm trying to say here. But before I do actually end this video, Elle Brooke has actually come out and posted something on her Instagram story. So I'm going to read it out. So Elle says, "Not Astrid suddenly deciding to have a moral compass after fat shaming me and releasing my legal name and location to millions of people, putting my entire family in danger. Just come out and have the guts to say you couldn't handle the heat. Oh, and then also having the audacity to say I come out in a bikini with minors around when there is 10,000 photos of your public indecency floating around." Very strong words there. Some of that stuff I have already pointed out, like the fat shaming side of things, saying her real name. I didn't know she actually released Elle Brooke's living location. But yeah, I'm not picking a side here. I'm only seeming like I am because I'm just saying what I've seen from both sides. If this was Elle, I would be doing the exact same thing I'm doing now with Astrid. I would be saying, you've done this, but you're saying that kind of thing. But obviously, Elle hasn't come out and done anything, and I can happily acknowledge that Elle has 100% done things that she shouldn't have done. But I'm only doing this because Astrid has actually come out and made a video. I think she is trying to play the victim a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know what she's actually thinking inside her head. So yeah, so that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you do like what you saw, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I do obviously have another video coming out soon that I did say at the start, where TikTok has picked my foot draft. It is currently 15 minutes to 7, so I still need to qualify for foot champs, play foot champs, get all that done. So yeah, so I've got a lot to do tonight. So yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, that'll mean a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.